Respiration in aquatic insects. Aquatic insects need oxygen too. They are equipped with a variety of adaptations that allow them to carry a supply of oxygen with them underwater or to acquire it directly from their environment. Cuticular respiration. Many aquatic species have a relatively thin integument that is permeable to oxygen and carbon dioxide. Diffusion of gases through this body wall, cuticular respiration, may be sufficient to meet the metabolic demands of small and active insects, especially those living in cold, fast moving streams where there is plenty of dissolved oxygen. So, larger insects, more active ones, or those living in less oxygenated water, may need to rely on other adaptations to supplement cuticular respiration. Biological gills. A biological gill is an organ that allows dissolved oxygen from the water to pass by diffusion into an organism's body. In insects, gills are usually outgrowths of the tracheal system. They are covered by a thin layer of cuticle that is permeable to both oxygen and carbon dioxide. When in many mayflies and damselflies, the gills are leaf-like in shape and located on the sides or rear of abdomen. Fanning movements of the gills keep them in contact with the constant supply of fresh water. Stoneflies and caris flies have filamentous gills on the thorax or abdomen. Dragonflies differ from other aquatic insects by having internal gills associated with the rectum. Water is circulated in and out of the anus by muscular contractions of the abdomen. This rectal gill mechanism doubles as a jet propulsion system. A sudden, powerful contraction of the abdomen will expel a jet of water and thrust the insect forward, a quick way to escape from predators. Then, breathing tubes. Although many aquatic insects live underwater, they get air straight from the surface through hollow breathing tubes, also known as siphons, that work on the same principle as a diver's snorkel. In mosquito larvae, for example, the siphon tube is an extension of the posterior spirochete. An opening at the end of the siphon is guarded by a ring of closely spaced hairs with a waterproof coating. At the air-water interface, these hairs break the surface tension of the water and maintain an open airway. When the insect dies, water pressure pushes the hairs close together, so they seal off the opening and keep water out. Water scorpions, Hemiptera, Nepidae, and rat-tailed maggots, larvae of the syrphid fly, are two more examples of aquatic insects that have snorkel-like breathing tubes. Many aquatic plants maintain their buoyancy by storing oxygen, a waste product of photosynthesis, in special acules. A few insects, larvae of Mansonia species, mosquitoes, insert their breathing tubes into their air stores and obtain a rich supply of oxygen without ever swimming to the surface of the water. And air bubbles. Some aquatic insects, diving beetles, for example, carry a bubble of air with them whenever they dive beneath the water surface. This bubble may be held under the elytra, wing covers, or it may be trapped against the body by specialized hairs. The bubble usually covers one or more spiracles, so the insect can breathe air from the bubble while submerged. And an air bubble provides an insect with only a short-term supply of oxygen, but thanks to its unique physical properties, the bubble will also collect some of the oxygen molecules dissolved in the surrounding water. In effect, the bubble acts as a physical gill, replenishing its supply of oxygen through the physics of passive diffusion. The larger the surface area of the bubble, the more efficiently the system works. Then an insect can remain underwater as long as the volume of oxygen diffuses into the bubble is greater than or equal to the volume of oxygen consumed by the insect. So, unfortunately, the size of the bubble shrinks over time as nitrogen slowly diffuses out into the water. When the bubble surface area decreases, its rate of gas exchange also decreases. Eventually, the bubble becomes too small to keep up with metabolic demands, and the insect may renew the entire bubble by returning to the water surface. Then plastrons. A plastron is a special array of rigid, closely spaced hydrophobic hairs or setae that create an air space next to the body. Air trapped within a plastron operates as a physical gill, just like air in a bubble, but this air space cannot shrink in volume because the force of setae prevents encroachment of surrounding water. When the insect consumes oxygen, it creates a partial pressure deficit inside the plastron. This deficit is corrected by dissolved oxygen that diffuses in from water. As nitrogen gradually diffuses out of the bubble, it creates a similar partial pressure deficit. but there is very little dissolved nitrogen present in water. It has a lower solubility potential than oxygen. Some of the nitrogen's partial pressure deficit is corrected by oxygen. In effect, the plastron trades some of the nitrogen for oxygen, keeping a constant volume of gas that may slowly become enriched with oxygen. And the constant volume of plastron's air supply eliminates the periodic need to surface and replenish the bubble. Insects that remain permanently submerged, Riffle beetles family, Elmidae, or others lack the ability to reach the surface, like eggs of floodwater mosquitoes, are likely to have plastrons. The structures are often visible underwater as thin, silvery films of air covering parts of the body surface. And hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment that facilitates the capture of oxygen molecule. It is an essential component of all human red blood cells, but it occurs only rarely in insects, most notably in the larvae of certain midgets family, Chironomidae, known as bloodworms. These distinctive red worms usually live in the muddy depths of ponds or streams where dissolved oxygen may be in short supply. Under normal aerobic conditions, hemoglobin molecule in the body blood bind and hold a reserve supply of oxygen. Whenever conditions become aerobic, the oxygen is slowly released by the hemoglobin for use by the cells and tissues of the body. This backup supply may only last a few minutes, but it's only long enough for the insect to move into more oxygenated water.